Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to show you how to oil a fretboard on a guitar with a Floyd Rose. If you want to do this in between string changes, usually I do it when I do the string changes, but sometimes they get a little dirty. Maybe you get a nice set of strings that don't need changing as often, or you haven't played as much, but the fretboard is just a little dirty. You want to clean it up. So I'm going to show you a quick way to go ahead and clean the fretboard without having to change all the strings. So this guitar here is a Charvel So-Cal Pro Mod 1 model. This is the 3-tone burst. Beautiful guitar. Made in Mexico version. They did a really good job on this guitar. It's beautiful. Alright, so a few things you'll need. You're gonna need like a small wrench set, pliers or something like that to pull the strings out the back. Screwdriver, magnetic if possible. Some of the backplate screws are very small. I've lost them inside my case before. Sucks. We're also going to be using the MusicNomad F-One fretboard oil. And then also you'll just need some sort of rag. I typically have a set rag that I use only for cleaning fretboards. You don't probably want to be using the same rag that you use to polish your guitar or wiping your strings down and things like that. So, alright. So first step, I'm going to go ahead and remove the Floyd Rose bar. I have one of the quick release options. This doesn't come standard on the Charvel model that I have. It's just an upgrade piece that I bought. It's like 20-25 bucks, I think. You just this also works if this process in the video is going to show you how to take the Floyd Rose and the strings off all together at once. So if you ever want to switch from the screw-in style arm to the pop-in style arm, this video will also help you as well. So first things first, I'm gonna flip the guitar over, start taking out the screws. Alright, now that I've got all the screws removed, I'm going to get the plate off. Sometimes they're a little tight on there, so you might have to find something that you can just pop it off with. What I like to do is just lift the guitar up, pull the plate off. Alright, so now that the back plate is off, we can go ahead and start to remove the springs. What I like to do is get my pliers on the edge of the spring here, and also just hold my finger over it just to make sure it doesn't come flopping off. And pull that spring out. Go to the next one. And the last one. Alright, so now that the 3 strings are off, you can go ahead, carefully flip the guitar over. I like to kind of get my hand underneath to hold the bridge to make sure I'm not, gonna scratching the paint on the guitar or anything like that. Make sure you got a grip of the bridge. All right. So the Floyd Roses, they rest on these two posts here. That's what makes them floating. Let's see, stuck up on something here. All right. So you can see the bridge will just come right out. String still attached and all. I try not to bend the strings if you take it off like this. I just kind of set this off to the side, making sure that the strings remain loose up there. This is another good time if you want to clean up in here on the pick guard, if it's all dusty or whatever, or has grime or whatever on there. This is also a good time too if you ever have scratchy pots or something like that. You want to take your pick guard off and you have the Floyd Rose system. You have full access to take the pick guards out. Just get all your screws around there. Not these screws, because obviously they're for the pickups, or the two for the selector switch. But once you take all those out, some guitars take a little finagling to get it out, because like on this one, when I pop the plate up, the pick guard, the humbucker here, it kind of sticks in the route pocket a little, and this plate also sits under the fretboard here at the edge, so I have to kind of maneuver it out a certain way, and when I'm going to place it back in, so just be mindful of that. If it's something you're not comfortable doing, practice on a cheaper guitar, or take it to someone who is trusted and you're willing to let work on your guitar for you. Alright, so cleaning the fretboard, we've got the F-One oil once again, MusicNomad. Stuff works on all, I believe most woods. I believe it's not good for finished fretboards, but if you're just in ebony or rosewood or something like that. Maple fretboard usually is just a little bit of water and cloth, and you're good with those. So what I'll do is move the strings back a little, do a quick little dab oil. Now I had just cleaned this fretboard probably a couple weeks ago. So typically once you do this, you just want to put what I do is I put a small streak across each fret like that. You don't need a lot. And then I'll go ahead and just kind of move the oil around with my finger. Use a rag or something if you'd like as well. Kind of just doing a quick clean here. Typically, if your fretboard hasn't been done in a while, once you rub this oil in like I'm doing right now, you want to let it sit for a few minutes. Let the wood really absorb, absorb the oil and stuff. I'm just doing a quick wipe down because I noticed some spots that didn't quite get too well with the rag, so instead of trying to get it in between the strings, I figured I'd just take the bridge out and just re-oil and wipe it all down once again. So I'm not going to be waiting the few minutes like you probably want to if you haven't oiled your fretboard in a while. But once that's all spread out on the frets, you just want to take your rag, just start wiping it off. What I like to do is go against with the grain. The grain's all running this way, so just might help get everything in, all the oil into the wood and stuff. I like to do a quick wipe first and then go back and really kind of do a more thorough one. Just make sure I'm getting everything. And I like to get right up close to the frets if you can. So what happened, I don't think I did that last time, and I noticed there's oil sitting close in on the wood, close into the fret, and I don't know, it's just kind of bugging me. Kind of shines up the frets too, which is cool. As long as your frets are already in good condition before. If you haven't polished them in a while, it might be a good idea to polish them. If you end up doing the fret polish and stuff, I usually like to do that first before oiling. If you want to do all the maintenance stuff on your guitar at once, I think it just works out better. You know, because if you oil it and you get that, it's like a white paste. If you oil it, clean it like this, and then you go to polish your frets, you're gonna get, you know, the white paste on there, and probably wipe right off, but I prefer, you know, just to do it before. So alright, so it looks like we're pretty much good here. Wipe. Alright, so now you're gonna grab your bridge, watch the strings up there at the nut. Just kind of make sure everything's, you don't have to be perfect right now, but just make sure nothing's caught up or anything like that. And what you're gonna do is pull it back, kind of go in somewhat at an angle. You're gonna have to kind of maneuver it in past this route here, this drop. So I'll try to put it on the two posts. I want to make sure it's not too far down or too far up. What I do is I'll put it in there and kind of pull up a little, and you can see that it's catching on there. And so now that it's close, alright, so we're in there. So now I'm going to just keep my hand on it for a second, flip the guitar over. Back down like this. Grab my first spring. Put the loop on there on the claw. You can install the springs back the way that they were, you know, on your guitar. Some of them are straight or at an angle or whatever, but I like to keep mine just straight. Oops, 1 second. Just gonna rest this down now that it's flat. All right. So once you got it in the hook here, grab your pliers. See the end that needs to come in. Get a good grip on it with the pliers so they don't go flying anywhere. Just gonna put it right back in the hole like that. Do that for the other two springs as well. getting the first ring is gonna probably be the hardest, or kind of easy but hard. But the second one is kind of harder, and then the third one's just easy, you know, because it's already has its tension back just about, and it's pulling right back on there. I have a separate cloth that I use to wipe the guitar neck every time I'm done playing it. I just like to take care of my guitars. I've got guitars that I don't do that, but this one I like to take care of. So just give it a quick wipe. Alright, now pickguard. I'm sorry, the back plate. Let's get that back in there. You get a magnetic screwdriver, you won't have to worry about screws dropping. I got this one on Amazon, I think. Came with a guitar repair kit. Comes with like radius gauges, you know, action ruler, you know, some other things. It's up to you if you want to put your backplate back on. I mean, some people don't bother with it. If you're constantly changing tunings or something like that and need to adjust the tension on the springs, it's probably a good idea. So you don't have to, you know, bother with this every time, because this can get annoying. But overall, pretty simple task, you know. I think people who buy a Floyd Rose guitar, they want to, you know, buy it just because it's cool and want to learn how to play with a nice, I'd say it's the nicest bridge system ever invented. I know Guitar makes a good one too, and if you ever heard of the Washburn Wonder Bar, look that up. That's like a 80s, 90s relic now. He tried to, well, Washburn tried to apologize to Floyd Rose and Mr. Kaler, because Kaler was another drum system too, because Washburn had made this fantastic, you know, bridge system called the Wonder Bar. He stopped making it after a while though. I wonder why. This wasn't really working out. Alright. So we are all back together. Go ahead, put your bar back in if you'd like. Right back in tune. Awesome. Alright, well, this is an ode to my first video. New at making content. I'm gonna try to make some more guitar stuff. If you like the video, you know, want to see more, please like and subscribe. Appreciate all the you know, feedback and stuff that I can get. Anything that you want to see, have questions on, so let me know. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a good one.